My name is Jeannie Tyrell, and you are listening to Brain Drops. The Brain Drops podcast will provide every listener information about the Brain Drops Foundation. So, we are talking with our team member, Jaina Cipriano. She is a photographer, a production designer, a filmmaker extraordinaire, and she's in the process of opening Wonderland Studios, which is a place for artists to network and create across boundaries. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And you've also established Finding Bright Productions. That's a woman-owned production company. Through Finding Bright Productions, you build custom sets for musicians and artists. So I have to ask, when did you become a world builder?
World builder. Like when did I start like physically building worlds or like creatively building worlds?
I would say creatively.
Creatively? I think it's something I've always been interested in. Like even when I was in high school, I was writing like really bad fiction all the time. Like that was what I loved to do. I just recently found some of it and was like, well, it's got a lot of heart, you know?
I bet it's fascinating.
When I was in high school, I was like, wow, doesn't somebody want to publish this? And now I'm like, no, nobody wanted to publish that. It's okay. Yeah, that's something I've always been into. I think when I was younger, I felt really displaced in like this world. And so just naturally gravitated towards trying to make something that made me feel more comfortable.
And so I looked through your work, and of course it's very bright and vibrant, and I love it. So I just want to know like which world that you've created, which has brought you the most growth as an artist.
They all kind of feel like they're in the same universe. Like it almost feels like I'm like building a map of a place. But I've definitely grown the most through the films that I've made, because they're so like you have to work on them for so long and you can't stop working when it gets uncomfortable. Like when I've done some photo work, and it's not that like I'm shying away from anything uncomfortable, but there's only so much you can do with one photo, I feel like. So sometimes you can't really get that deep into it. But with film stuff, I find some of these films I've written, I'll wake up one morning and be like, I cannot bear the thought of like being in this world for a moment longer right now. And I'm like, yeah, we're not done, so we have to. And then usually it's after that moment of like icky gross where I have some type of like big growth moment or realization. I'm like, oh, okay. That's why we didn't feel good.
Yeah. I see that. And especially right now, times are so hard, and you had to work through the pandemic, of course. How did you adapt with that?
That was crazy. So when I did You Don't Have to Take Orders from the Moon, my first film. And then, I mean, we wrapped that production, I think 2 days before the world shut down. We wrapped that like March 11th. So we were super lucky, but it was such a life-changing moment for me. When I did that film, I was like, oh, because I had always worked alone. It was always like just me building stuff for hours in my studio. And when I worked with a team, I was like, this is amazing on so many levels. And I love this. And I cannot wait to work with like these people more and to find other people to work with. And then of course it was like, sorry, you can't work with anyone for like a whole year. So it was really like, I was like, wow, that feels a little personal, universe, even though I know it's not, but it's a tough moment.
Yeah. But hey, you pulled through and you put out some beautiful work, and you have projects coming up, which I wanted to ask you about. Feel free to share whatever you can. One of your latest project is a short film called Trauma Bond. Mm-hmm. That's based on a true story. So whose story are you sharing with us?
Oh, it's my story.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, whatever you feel comfortable sharing with us, because.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was in my early 20s, I was very, very gung-ho about trying to heal myself. And I thought that healing myself meant like I had to go 120% all the time, like straight into things and they say like, when you're uncomfortable, you grow. Mm-hmm. And I took that very literally. And so I put myself really hard into situations that made me uncomfortable, thinking that was how I was going to grow. And so I had, a couple of strange experiences with doing some, they called it somatic experiencing work, where you're supposed to like go into yourself and be able to see and feel your traumas. And then you're supposed to come out the other side feeling fine. So I was like oh, great, a quick fix. This is exactly what I need. And I can totally do this. And I worked with this woman who I now know was like, she wasn't accredited and she was not professional. And there may have been some like illegal things happening with her, but it essentially ended up like re-traumatizing myself as I tried to move through this like weird space that I was in. And so Trauma Bond is the story of, it's fictionalized. Like I put a layer of fiction on top of it to make it a little bit more fun and funky, but it's very much based off that time where I went and did this strange physical ritual with these strangers in hopes that it would just kind of like clear me out, and it did not.
It did not. Oh,
It
dang.
did not work.
That's intense. How, like, just to be already in such a vulnerable place and then to kind of have this weird bureaucracy, I want to say, kind of swoop in, and yikes.
It's tough when you're young, because I was looking at all these older people being like, you must know what's going on, and they had no idea.
Oh no.
I think when I went through that experience, I had felt very much like I had been disregarded my whole life. Like nobody had taken me seriously, and nobody was taking what I was going through seriously. And so I think what I was doing in that moment was taking myself almost too seriously, which I think put me, why I ended up in like kind of a dangerous spot, because I wasn't able to differentiate between anything that was like, sometimes like we don't always have to listen to everything that we feel. But I'm very much an extremist. It's something I've learned about myself. So if I'm feeling like no one's listening to me, then I'm going to listen to everything. And it's kind of bad both ways.
Gotcha. Would you like to share anything about your other film project, your short film? You don't have to take orders from the moon.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was my first film. That was also like loosely based off a true story, though much more magical realism in there. But I call it the story of the two deaths. So when you're at a place in your life where you've been following the wrong path for whatever reason, or the wrong people, and you've invested so much time and energy into that, and you realize, like, you wake up one day and you think, maybe this isn't where I'm supposed to be going, but you know that in order to go in a different direction, you have to lose everything you've got up till that point. And so it's kind of like, if you continue on this path, sometimes you feel like everything's going to end, but if you start over, everything ends in a way too. And so we kind of meet our main character on what I call the last night, where she has to choose, like, which ending is it going to be for her.
Yeah, it was very powerful. I loved the moment where the moon met the sun. I thought that was so cute.
Thank you.
Yeah. How long did it take you to put that together, or how long had you been working on it?
The short answer is about a year. The long answer is that it was like very loosely inspired by a night I had in my bed looking at the moon when I was 16. And then probably when I was like 25, I wrote like a short story about that. And then I never did anything with the short story. And a friend read it and was like, he didn't even like the short story, but he was like, I love this title. You don't have to take orders from the moon. You should write something with this title. So I kind of rewrote that short story into a film. And I think I wrote for 6 months. We did like 12 drafts. And then we did about like 6 months of pre-production and then 2 weeks of production, and then like 6 months of editing. It was a really long process. It was like a year and a half.
Yeah. It was very fulfilling, though, I'm sure.
It was. It's great to be immersed in a big project. I love that.
And it's taken you from, just writing that down, having that memory. You're 16 years old and you wrote it. Now you have your own production company you're building. And so how does that feel?
Oh man, it's stressful, but it's so stressful. We had our second startup. Like we're really like getting into gear now, trying to like get everything where we want to be. So we had a meeting last night, me and the team, and the to-do list I walked away with, I was like, wow. Yeah. Much more than I thought I was going to have to do this month, but it's great. I'm really excited about it. It feels like the right thing to do. I feel like I have the right team of people. I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time. So all of those things feel really solid to me. And I'm excited to be able to make the large scale work that I've always dreamed of making, and to work with other people in this area that I don't even know yet, or in other areas who are super cool and fun and interested in doing things like I am. Like it feels like making a big call out to the world and be like, where are all the rest of the cool people?
Where are you?
Yeah. Come this way.
Come play with us. Okay. Yeah. And you do have a very interesting artist that you just collaborated with, Carissa Johnson. She is a musician and she's got music coming out on August 12th. And so it was Finding Bright that was you collaborated with. So how was that experience? You guys did a music video, I believe.
Oh, that was great. Carissa is like the dream client, and she's just a wonderful person, and she trusted our team so much and gave us so much freedom to run with, and it was just a dream. It was so much fun. And every time I would come to her with an idea, I'd be like, I know this sounds a little crazy, but hear me out. And she'd be like, oh no, I love it. It's great. And I'm like, okay, good. Yeah,
that comes out August 12th. It seems very uplifting, and that's something that our society seriously needs right now. So congrats on that collaboration.
I think we all wanted to, it was the first project I think any of us had done out of quarantine. And so we were all really craving something fun. And they say like, oh, I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. So instead I freelance and now I work 24/7. This is just all I think about.
Freelance just took a huge hit. I was doing freelance work for such a long time, and now I'm like, I'm slowly getting myself back into it, but I had to take some time off just to kind of process the huge reset.
It's been crazy, and it's tough too, like being an artist who owns a company that caters to other artists. Like right now I'm like, I know we don't have money. Like a lot of us don't have money. We've been hit really hard. So it's a weird time to be opening up a new business. But I don't feel like I can wait any longer to do this. So we're just going for it anyways. We're just going to do it.
Awesome. Well, I wish you nothing but luck with that. Let's have your Instagram handles for people listening.
Yeah, my personal Instagram is at Jaina's Photography, JAINAS Photography. And then you can find Finding Bright Productions at Let Light Find You. Perfect.
Well, I thank you so much for your time, Jaina, and for speaking with me. Do you have any upcoming work?
I got a few things. I did a commission job for the Planned Parenthood advocacy group. So they're doing like a project, like a pro-abortion art project. So I created a really beautiful portrait for them. It should be being released in the next month. And then I have 2 local to me. So local to Boston. I have a show in Somerville at the Armory coming up September, I believe. And then in November, I don't have the date yet. I do have a really big show with a satellite gallery of the Griffin Museum in Winchester, which I'm very, very excited about that. So I had that show planned before the pandemic, and then it got canceled.
But Wonderland. So tell me about that gig you got going on. Wonderland Studios.
Yeah. So Wonderland is a big idea that I'm still very, very passionate about. And I've done a lot of market research. I've done a lot of talking to people in the Boston area. And I really do think that there is a need for a space like that. And so the way that I've kind of been approaching it is like Finding Bright will translate into Wonderland Studios just as a way, like that's just kind of the way the financial world works. Like you want money for a big project, you got to show that you can do a small project. So we're working slow and steady at it. So I don't think it's going to happen quite as soon as I had originally intended or hoped or planned for. But it's still something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, you'll get there. I enjoy your work.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to see what you do too. So
I know I'm getting there.
I believe in you too. So
okay. All right. You take care.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Brain Drops podcast. Stay tuned for updates on our foundation, our guest speakers, and some interesting brain drops.